Hello, everybody. We're back at it again here, and today I'd like to talk about the talking heads of finance. Oftentimes, I see it. I go online and I see these videos of whomever, and they're pushing their publications of a waterfall or an avalanche of way to save in financial savings, and I can tell you that it's really neither. One of the things that I consider is, short-term habits make a long-term solution for you. And, what I mean by that is I'm sure there's a lot of young people out there saying, man, I'm just in a boatload of debt and I have absolutely no way of getting out of it. Well, I can tell you that, first and foremost, I used to be young too. And I understand what you're going through and you're frustrated and, everything you're told as far as, go to school, get an education and, spend all this money on books and tuition, things like that, and just trying to live life. And it starts to weigh you down in credit card debt and student loan debt, and not really having a way out of it. So believe me, I know what you're going through. But I can tell you that, small habits end up solving this big problem that you have. A couple of things I'd like to talk about is, obviously first and foremost is try to avoid making dumb decisions. And I understand when you're young, unfortunately, you think the world is your oyster and you don't have a lot of experience. And, you're told to go to school because, hey, that's what I was told, right? All your friends are going and you want to obviously get a decent job as soon as you can. But, I can tell you there's really two school of thoughts in that. You can take the traditional college or you can take the school of hard knocks. Traditional college, like I said, you do 12 weeks and you're done. School of hard knocks, believe me, when your job is on the line, you learn really quick. Another thing is small habits. Small habits such as, don't go drinking to the bar with your buddies. Drink at home if you can. Obviously being of age, of course. And do things that are legal according to your age. Just small habits, drinking at home versus drinking at a club and spending $10 a beer and plus a tip, plus whatever else, things like that. It's way funner, obviously. You get dancing, you get good conversation, you get to meet random people, but, versus staying at home or wherever you're at, and it's, $1 beer, 75 cents, and you get a 12 pack. But small things end up becoming big things. Another thing I'd like to talk about is, I hear a lot of these talking heads, if you save $70 a week for a gazillion years, you're going to end up with like $1 million by the time you're 70. In theory, that's good, but I understand being young or whatever age you're at, you're probably not getting a lot of money. Otherwise, you'd be able to save it. And for a lot of people, you don't have discretionary income. So everything you have is going towards your beat up clunker car, or everything that you have is going towards rent, and you don't have a lot of things. So in theory, these talking heads, save whatever amount and you'll end up being a millionaire, but life happens. So in theory, it works out. In reality, it's not really much. What I'd recommend instead is the small habits and things such as coupons, shopping around for insurance. I can tell you that most insurance companies, they either get you 2 or 3 levels above where you need to be, above the minimum insurance. Go get the minimum insurance. Try carpooling. If you have to get a credit card, which I'd avoid getting credit cards, but if you have to, get a 0%. And, make sure you put a sticky note somewhere where you take a look at it on a whatever basis to know, hey, it expires on this date. Just do little things to save money, and those little things add up to big things, and big things pay off those debts. Another thing, shop at Aldi or Walmart. Don't try to shop expensive. I know all your friends are going to the expensive places and they're buying nice clothes and so on and so forth. Don't do that. I get it. You see your friends in nice clothes and you want to be in nice clothes. But understand that's their parents' money, not their money. So just try to avoid that. And lastly, I can tell you just from experience, unfortunately, in theory, you're going to do as you're told, but you're young and the world is your oyster. So a lot of life experiences we learn after the fact. After the fact, we ran up this debt. After the fact, we went to college and we had a bunch of student loans thinking that we'd find a great job. You learn after the fact, oh crap, it's not the loan that kills you. It's the compounding interest. So just do what you can as far as paying off the student loan debt, the credit card debt. If you have an interest rate, transfer it down to like a 0%, something reasonable, a couple $1,000s where you can pay it off in a certain amount of time. And just small things add up to big things. But a little bit about me, myself and my partner, we run a bookkeeping, payroll, and tax company. We have 15 years of experience, so I've seen about anything and everything you can think of. Check us out, www.metroacc.com. Believe me, I know what you're going through. You can do it. Until next time.